Hey guys, Super the Rage here. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome to another Lawbreakers guide. Today we're looking at the Vanguard role, and the Vanguard is actually quite fun. It was actually my first love on Lawbreakers back when I played the beta for the first time. This is a class that I gravitated to quite a lot, that and the Titan, but we'll get to the Titan later. Today we're doing the Vanguard. So let's go directly to the damage, no time wasting. So the melee for Vanguard is very standard, 75 damage, nothing special about that. And yeah, that's the melee. There's nothing super amazing about it. Then you go to her main weapon, which is the Hydra, or the Gatling gun, rotary gun, whatever you want to call it, on her arm. This is kind of interesting. There's two things to keep in mind with this weapon. Number one, there is a spin-up time for it, so as long as you hold down left click, or R2, or whatever, as long as you hold down the fire button, it will continue for about 2.2 seconds to spin up, and then it will achieve maximum accuracy and fire rate. Now, I didn't really test the fire rate because that's kind of a hard thing to test, or at least it's kind of a tedious thing to test for a game where you're not going to be hitting a lot anyway. But let's just say the fire rate's pretty decent once you have it all the way spun up, and the accuracy is pretty good as well. And number two to remember about the Hydra is you will never get a headshot with a Hydra. Let me say that again. Do not go for headshots with the Hydra. It does not happen. It will not happen. Ignore the head completely. Just shoot at the body. I have tried getting headshots in testing. I tried it a million different ways, and it did not work at all. Now, moving on to the actual damage. The Hydra will do 5 damage at long range, about 15 at medium range, and approximately 40 at short range. Now, short and medium range is going to be where you want to engage with the Vanguard. You don't want people way far out. You want to try and get in a gunfight with an Enforcer or a Gunslinger, because they're going to have the advantage on you for long-range damage. But if you get all up in somebody's face, or you start firing the Hydra while you're jetpacking towards somebody, that's a really good strategy, because you can get a lot of bullets in their face very quickly. Alright, moving on from the primary weapon, we're going to the Pulsar. The Pulsar is the right-click, or the Iron Man hand pulse, whatever you want to call it. And it will send enemies away from you, so in 0G as well as normal G, but obviously normal gravity is going to affect it more, so this is very good for 0G, and yeah, but it will also do damage, which is the interesting part. So I tested this at about a maximum range of, I'd say, 10 feet, and these are the results I got. So at long range, which is about 10 feet, even though I think it can go about 2 feet more, but I'm not sure. The long range damage is 20, the medium range damage is 50, and all up in somebody's face, like nose to nose with them, will deal you 120 short range damage. Holy shit, this thing packs a punch when you're all up in somebody's face with it. So Vanguard is definitely a class you want to get aggressive with, and you want to go in on their face. Her abilities and her primary weapon reflect that, except for the next bit, which is kind of, you want to maybe stay a little bit away from them. The Meteor Shell is her next ability. It is her E or L1 or whatever button you use for it. It will throw 5 meteor shells out at once, and each of the shells will do 40 damage. So if all 5 hit somebody, they will deal a maximum total of 200. So this is not advised for when you're up in somebody's face, but a good combo is to hit them with the Pulsar to make them float away from you a little bit, and then immediately follow it with meteor shells. Generally, you'll hit at least 3 of them, if not all 5 of them, and it gets a good bit of damage out, and it's really good in tight hallways, or when an assassin or a wraith is bum rushing you to the face. Do note, there is an AoE to this that will hurt you as well, so you may want to be careful with the meteor shells. Now moving on to the ultimate ability, Starfall, where she screams death from above and just lands on somebody like a meteor just coming from the fucking sky. And it's great. I love this ability. It's so badass. So this has an AoE as well as a direct damage bonus. The AoE will deal 225 damage to anything within, I'd say, I don't know, about 5 to 7 feet. It's not a large range to do it in, but it's big enough for any of the objectives, like Occupy, Turf War, the Blitzball, the Uplink. Anything like in that circle will pretty much get fucked if they're standing on the objective. It will not one-shot, however, even with a direct shot. So if you, even if you direct hit, you're only going to gain 75 more damage, so you're dealing a maximum of 300 with this thing to a single person, which is not enough to one-shot anybody in the game, but a quick follow-up with the Hydra or the Pulsar will definitely get you the kill. There is actually another interesting part to this ult, which is that it will actually create a 0G zone in the area that it hits. So this is also unaffected by charging, which is holding down Q, and you can hold that for about 4 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds, and you can actually aim it a lot better doing that, but it won't increase damage, it won't make the gravity zone last longer. It's just a very standard thing. So the gravity zone, or the anti-gravity zone, I should say, it will last for approximately 15 seconds, give or take 0.1 or 0.2, because I was using a timer and I wasn't super accurate, but I didn't, go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi on it. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you want enemies to get off of an objective and you don't feel like kicking them off it, you can hit it with Starfall real quick, and they'll just immediately float away from the blast zone, which is pretty neat. Alright, so that is it for all the damage. A very straightforward class, and not as in-depth as the Hydra. The Hydra, there was some damage numbers to go over in that one, because the damage boost, and healing station, and all that. But no, Vanguard's a very standard kind of unit. It is best used at short, medium range, but, other than that, really nothing spectacular. I got a few personal tips to throw in here about some things you can do that I've learned while playing Vanguard. I played it for about, 2 or 3 days, so I've got some practice. So let's see, the ult you can actually use to get to your base faster. I actually did this in a uplink game. I went to the middle of the map, and most maps are set up symmetrically and nice open space in the middle for the gravity zone. You can actually grab the objective, shoot like jetpack up to the sky, hit your ult, and aim it towards your base, and since you're so high up, you'll basically get a good angle on this, and you can throw yourself so fast that basically nobody will hit you during that as long as you're moving. Like, once you start moving, you're not going to get hit, you're going to be near your base, and while you're up there, your fuel will actually reset, or it will recharge, so you can actually have a jetpack straight back into your base and score the objective, which is really, really nice. Number 2 is to use your pulsar to propel yourself backwards in 0 gravity, which is really neat. This comes with a little bit of a caveat, because the pulsar can be fired without using your fuel. Now, it uses fuel. As you've seen in some of the gameplay, the fuel meter does take a chunk off when you use pulsar, but it can be used without fuel. It's just gonna not push you as far, and I'm not sure if it affects damage. I would assume not, or maybe so. I'm not sure. It seems to be the same ability for damage. I did some testing, not too much on the pulsar. If anybody knows, then leave it in the comments. But yeah, that is about it for the Vanguard. Very straightforward class, very easy to pick up and kind of use. Nothing spammy or noob friendly about this class. Again, Lawbreakers, everything in this game is skill-based, so everything's fun. Anyway, that is it for the Vanguard guide. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, then do the usual. Like, subscribe, check out my streams, and I will see you guys in the next video. Reap the Rager, signing off.